Alright, so new patch dropped 19 hours ago. We are now on patch 10.21. A brief outline of the buffs. I think some of the biggest changes here are the item changes and some of the system reworks. I think that some of the nerfs are also going to be really impactful, especially the Aphelios nerf. You're not going to see Spirit Aphelios anymore. I think that comp is not dead, but, well, it's dead. I'm pretty sure they killed it. I think that because of the Ludens change, you're gonna see some of the Bubble Bobble comp is what Mort Dog was calling it, which is where you get Nami and 3 mages and you stack Ludens on Nami and she just kills everything that doesn't have a Quicksilver Sash. And I'm curious to see if the Teemo and Nidalee buffs lead to sharpshooters being stronger in the early game, which I think is one of their pain points, is the early game for sharpshooters. So let's see, let's go ahead and scroll down and get into some of this stuff. Oh yeah, we get our, if you place gold or higher in galaxies, you get a victorious hauntling. If you place plat or higher, you get a triumphant hauntling. So I have a victorious hauntling in my inbox. And for this season, I'll have whatever the platinum one is. But last season, we did not have the platinum one. Alright. Systems changes. These are actually kind of big. Remove the fate change to the shop that prohibited unbought champions from repeating in consecutive shops. So what this means is in the early rounds, you're no longer going to avoid buying anything specifically. You'll basically, for stage 1, buy out your shop every time because you want to hit your 2-star units early on. It'll help you get through the early game. You're no longer punished for doing that. Modified the chosen appearance rate to reduce some of the worst luck. That's great. I like not feeling punished by rolling 20 times and not hitting a chosen. And you're now guaranteed a chosen by 2-2. This is also really big. This means that you're not going to have games where you start out and you've got like one person or 2 or 3 people on the board that have chosen units and everybody else is sitting around like, what the fuck? Why can't I contest this guy? And so by 2-2, you will have a chosen unit. Might not be the one that you're looking for, but you will have something, which is a lot better than nothing. General balance changes. These add-up changes don't matter. Add-up's still going to be trash. Hunter bonus damage, 175 at all levels. That means that 4 and 5 Hunter is worse. Moonlight 5 now exists. I'm curious if this Moonlight 5 change actually means anything or not. If people are going to build Moonlights, especially with the Aphelios nerf, I'm curious if that becomes worth doing or not. Or if you go, like, one of the other Moonlight carry builds, if you go, like, Moonlight Assassin off of it, and you just have a really big Lysandra or a really big Silas with it. Or if, like, there's some sort of new Moonlight build that's going to be, like, Lysandra, Lux, and then, like, another Divine unit to give Lux a bonus, too, and you run, like, Moonlight Dazzler. Mystic Magic Resist went up, which is great. No pains here on that. I am happy to see Mystic get a little bit of a buff, actually. Ninja, the 4 Ninja bonus got a lot better. Shades. Goodbye, Zed. Hopefully. Hopefully we're not going to see Zed every game anymore. It went from every 3rd attack to every 4th attack. I think that they increased the damage that it did with it so that it does comparable damage, but you don't get the evasion every 3 attacks, it's every 4 attacks now, which is a pretty big deal because it used to be that he would just always drop aggro before he died, before anybody got a chance to get hits on him. So yeah, if you see, well, they did increase the damage by, it looks like about 25% per thing. 100 damage. It's 25 at the first level. So it's roughly a fifth. Okay. And then that amount scales down a little bit at each level. Vanguard 8 now exists and gives 1,500 bonus armor. What the fuck? That's so stupid. Hello, good morning, Grace. How are you doing? Cultists scale now. That's the big takeaway there, is that cultists can scale into the late game and not suck, but their early game's a little bit weaker. You're okay? Your stomach hates you right now? Oh, big sad. Big Sag. Did you eat something spicy last night that didn't agree with you? I've been eating leftover chili for like a week right now, and it's really good, but also like same. About to make breakfast number two. About to make breakfast number two. Okay. Well, enjoy your breakfast. Are you making anything good? You got some eggs, some fried ham, some bacon. Passed on the hot pepper. I'm good. I'm good. We're doing the TFT patch notes rundown right now. Just running through and looking at all the stuff on the new patch that just hit today, and doing a little bit of theory crafting on what's going to be good, what's going to be bad. Frying an egg, run the bacon, and a pancake. Nice. That's like a full breakfast. I'm a little jealous. I had some toast this morning. Divine rework. Divine, you're no longer forced to only go 2 Divine, basically. If you ever went more than 2 Divine on the last patch or any of the patches this set before this, you were throwing. Going 4 Divine, 6 Divine, and 8 Divine now makes it decent because you get 50% reduced damage and 50% bonus true damage at each level, but the time that you have it lasts longer. Instead of it being, what was it, 33% reduced damage and then 20, 40, 60 increased damage for 2 to 6. They did some readjusting on Fortune. I think Fortune's still just fine. I'm probably not going to go Fortune very often just because I'm not a Fortune player, but if it's handed to me, if I get like Tom Kench Fortune Chosen, maybe I'll still try to go it. The 0 loss gold decrease matters a decent chunk. It's 0 through 2. So basically, if you're at the point where you're even on board or ahead on board, you got nerfed a little bit. Champion buffs and nerfs. Diana 4 got a mild nerf. Elise 3 got a mild buff. Nidalee Javelin Toss damage bonus per hex from 10% to 20%. This is potentially a really big buff for Nidalee. As long as you can keep her cornered properly, I think that she's gonna potentially be able to like really shred some people. This is another buff to sharpshooters as well. That was one of the champions that they mentioned, right? Yeah, it was. So decent Nidalee buff. Aphelios turrets now stop firing when Aphelios is disabled. Goodbye, Aphelios. The entire point that people were building you was because you could stick a GA on it, and they'd just keep shooting and keep shooting and keep shooting forever. So I don't think that that's going to be... Aphelios is going to be as big of an issue as he was. I don't know if Aphelios really was an issue last patch. I didn't see very many Aphelios comps, but they nerfed him again, so he's probably not going to see very much play. Jarvan Dragon Strike damage increased at rank 3 by 250 damage. Probably doesn't matter a whole lot. Jax got, not a revert, but slightly put back towards where he was for his mana situation. He should still get his first cast off fine, but his second and third cast are going to come slower now. He's probably still in a pretty good spot. I wouldn't sleep on Jax. Teemo Spore Cloud damage drastically increased. So if I remember right from watching Mort Dog's YouTube video, what happened was that people would stack their Teemo and they'd be really surprised that it just wasn't doing anything, because it seems like these damage numbers are fine, especially for a 2-star unit, and it's bouncing to multiple targets, but what happens is this is a damage over time. This isn't all happening at once. So you would stack a bunch of AP on him, he'd apply his dot, and then he'd cast again, and it would reset the dot, so you wouldn't get the full damage. So they buffed the damage on him. I don't know if that's the best way to do that, or if they could have made it a stacking dot, but we'll see how that goes. Cannon Slicing Maelstrom damage increased at 3-star, so Cannon 3 kills people. If you get Cannon 3, it kills people. Cannon 1 and 2 are okay. Cannon 3 kills people. Vigar nerf, great. Not really that big of a deal. It's going to mean that if you get a Vigar super early and you 2-star it early, it's not going to have as much AP in the end game, but that's fine. I think Vigar is still going to see a decent amount of play. Ari got the big nerf. She got her health reduced by 50, which is almost 10% of her starting health total. Her Spirit Bomb damage at 2-star and 3-star does dramatically less damage. Jin's 4th shot at 4-star does less, but 1,000% damage is still a lot, so you don't have to sleep on that. He was critting people for like 4, 5, 6k previously. Riven doesn't even really see that much play. Why are we still nerfing Riven? Talon True Strike damage reduced. I'm okay with that. 5-star nerfs and buffs don't matter very much because they're mostly around the 3 stars of the 5 costs. And if you ever get Azir 3-star or Kayn 3-star, you win the game. The Kayn's actually a nerf of the 1 cost and of his shadow form, which is the blue one that makes him deal extra damage. So blue Kayn got nerfed. That's actually probably a little bit meaningful, but you can still just like build red Kayn and put more like offensive items on him and rely on the lifesteal off of it being red Kayn, I guess. Lilia nerf at 1-star, buff at 2-star. Zillion got a rework at 2-star basically, where he's gonna res more targets and they're gonna have less health when they come in, which I think is gonna be fine. Item changes. Okay, so these are kind of cool. Chalice got a buff. Stoneplate got a buff. They're buffing the items that don't see that much play. Locket got a buff. Ludens is busted now. Quicksilver got a mild nerf. Static Shiv, like Ludens, got a similar rework where it's doing more bonus damage and less damage up front. Ludens didn't have that effect previously. That's why Ludens is interesting though. Ludens is going to do extra damage to shields and extra damage to units that are crowd controlled. Static Shiv already did that, but Ludens is for casters essentially. Zeke's buff, Zizzarat. So if you put Zizzarat on a unit, it now gets taunt at the beginning of combat. This is actually really useful a lot of the time. You can either throw Zizzarat on a unit in the back to counter assassins. You can put it up front to set up for like a Sejuani ult. You can throw it on an assassin with other tank items to make their damage carries swing at your tank assassin character instead of focusing down whatever else you have set up. So I think that we're going to see some interesting strategies happening with Zizzarat. I'm not sure 100% all of what they're going to be or what units it's going to be on, but there's some stuff that we can do with that that's going to be cool. Fix a typo, codified a tooltip. Use wrong color on their spell tooltip, and that doesn't matter. That was a bug, I guess. Yeah, all the bug fixes are just bug fixes. Okay. So I think that we covered just about everything. Takeaways are Ari's worse, which means Spirit's worse. Sharpshooters got buffed. Bubble Bobble with Ludens Echo is a thing. Stoneplate got a buff, so we might see some more solo unit like Stoneplate Zizzarat tanks. And buffs to Zeke's and Chalice, I think, could be meaningful. We might see some of like the Locket stacking Divine stuff. and I think that could pair decently with like duelists, especially since you can get duelist spat and divine spat out of the shop. Plus, those units already overlap. I think that there's probably some divine duelist comp where you want to stack lockets that exists. And yeah, I think that